Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. If you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's on the road to 100 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. If you love sports news, sports betting, reactions, sports rankings, daily uploads, anything at all in the sports world, it's all right here on the Talk of the Town podcast. So I promise you, your subscription will be well worth it. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Houston and Tampa game, a little bit of the Chargers and Raiders game as well. And then we have Top 10 Tuesday, my top 10 teams and top 10 quarterbacks updated every single Tuesday after the NFL week is officially over. So if you have not watched my previous one, I'll make sure to make a little card for it up top if you want to catch up on my rankings, see who's dropped and see who's went up as well since last week. Yeah, man. For one, I'm going to say before I start, if you do hear any background noise, any extracurricular in the background or whatever, there's people doing construction literally right outside of the door in my living room right now. So I'm sorry for that, but I can't really do anything about it. I'm going to try editing it out as much as humanly possible. They shouldn't be here much longer, and they're not doing anything right now. So hopefully that kind of stays like that. But yeah, if you're any hammering or sawing or what the hell ever, just any noise in the background, that is what that is. So I apologize for that. But let's get into the Houston versus Tampa game last night on Monday Night Football. For one, we're going to talk about here, we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield a little bit with my updated top 10 quarterback list. The dude might quite literally be the most clutch quarterback in the NFL right now. One of them, at least. If you don't think he's number one, he's one of them. Every time Tampa is either down a touchdown or just a field goal, one score, whatever it is, and Baker has the ball with less than 2 minutes left, you know Tampa's going to score. It almost feels like a guarantee. Every time I watch Baker play in the clutch, they score every single time. They showed a graphic of what his numbers was on game-winning drives with Tampa Bay, and just in general, he is a clutch quarterback. And he proved it last night, man. That Tampa Bay offense, I can't wait to see when Chris Godwin comes back. Buka, again, another big touchdown last night. He had that really bad drop towards the end of the game that could have ended up costing them the game if they didn't go on to score the game-winning drive there at the end with Rachaad White. But if he ended up dropping that ball and they lost, Ibuka, no matter what he would have done, his heroics, anything like that, kind of would have gotten thrown out of the window, to be completely honest with you. So, but it did, luckily for him, and people are still talking about him dropping that pass, but I'm not making an excuse. Receivers drop passes all the time. Doesn't make an excuse. You know, you have to catch the pass no matter what. But yeah, man, I mean, that was a pretty good game last night, a very defensive-heavy game, especially for Houston. The only thing, you know, I talked about Houston a couple of weeks ago before the start of the season, and one of the things with Houston I talked about was I thought their offensive line wouldn't be great. I knew their offensive line wouldn't be that good, but I seen they added a couple names, Cam Robinson, and I thought maybe they'd be half decent. I knew it would kind of be a little bit of an issue for them all season, but when you have Stroud at quarterback, when you have a good quarterback and a shaky offensive line, it can make your offensive line look a lot better than it really is. One of the parts that really worries me with CJ Stroud is even when he had time to throw last night, which wasn't much, to be honest with you, I do give him the benefit of the doubt. His offensive line is not good. But even when he did, he was missing some throws, had some errant throws. There was one towards the end of the game. Who was it? Was it Higgins, I think? Or it may have even been Nico Collins. Just down the middle of the field and just threw it a couple yards behind him. And a couple throws later, he was under some duress, but instead of throwing it away, he throws it in the middle of the field. And Levante David should have had an interception. It was right in his hands. And he should have blatantly had an interception. He dropped it. Stroud got pretty lucky, and he was getting booed off the field. And this Houston offense is a mess. It is a mess. And, being a Patriots fan, I know I mentioned it a lot, but I've seen Colin Cowherd and this guy, John Middlecoff, I watch. They go on together. If you're watching now, you probably have seen them before. If you watch sports podcasts, one of the biggest podcasts. I love them. They're great watch. But of course, being in sports, anyone and everyone has disagreements. And the way they talk about, certain teams, and I'm just using the Patriots as an example because that's what it's been, is they talk about, well, they feel like the most, but there's nothing there. There's no juice on the offense. They don't have a player that really sticks out on the team in general. But I'm just going to use the offense as an example because, that's what we're talking about right now is offense. The offensive line, way better than Houston's. The receiving core, or I don't want to say way better, but that receiving core for Houston doesn't look good at all. Those two receivers they drafted are kind of irrelevant, to be completely honest with you. Dalton Schultz, kind of not really in the mix at all anymore, and Nick Chubb is a shell of himself. So, and the reason why I bring that up is because people aren't really talking about that with Houston. They're talking about it more this morning than they had the last couple of weeks. But that Houston offense, I think, is the worst offense in the NFL. That and Tennessee, within the same division, of course, are their offenses are pretty brutal. Maybe you can throw New Orleans in there. But New Orleans has shown sign of life in that offense. I mean, what Houston last week at 9 points, and what they had this week, they had 19, but a lot of that was from defensive stops. I mean, they could have scored more if their offense could have scored touchdowns, and they would have won that game. But that offense, man, that is a brutal operation going down there in Houston. And you kind of have to wonder about C.J. Stroud a little bit. Like I said, when he had time to throw, he kind of had some errant throws, was kind of just off his timing a little bit. He does not look like the same quarterback he did his rookie year. And I said this yesterday, that rookie year for C.J. Stroud seems like a long time ago. Like, that seems like it was 5 years ago, not 2 years ago. We talked about his sophomore slump last year, even though they won a playoff game. But if it was right now, if you had to give him it today, would you give C.J. Stroud a Trevor Lawrence kind of contract? That's almost kind of what it feels like he'd be getting, although he has won a couple of playoff games, has brought some success to Houston. So I definitely give him credit where it's due. I mean, he's definitely better than Trevor Lawrence. Tua, he's better than those guys. But in terms of his play, right now, is he really much better than those guys? I know people, are going to mention the offensive line, and that is completely understandable. I know, trust me, I've been watching the Patriots the last few years. The offensive line, if your offensive line isn't right, your quarterback is going to suck. Now, that's not necessarily for everybody. He's not up there in the tiers with the Allens and the Lamars and the Mahomes. We know that, but no matter what kind of offensive line those guys have, they make it work. But even still, I mean, Kansas City's offensive line cost them maybe another Super Bowl last year, and I mean, it's tough, man. And he's really operating behind a really bad offensive line. I'd say one of, if not the worst unit in the NFL right there. I mean, they're bottom, man. They're bottom of the barrel offensive line. No matter where you rank them, they're bottom 30 easily. I mean, they're really bad. So, Houston definitely has some glaring issues, and they're playing a first-place schedule. I looked at their schedule last night and this morning, man. Their schedule is tough. I don't think Houston's going to make the playoffs, especially the way they're playing right now. They'll be in close games. Their defense will keep them in games. D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a coach. He coaches that defense hard, man. But that offense is just, there's nothing there. There's no life to that offense. They may have a couple games throughout the year where they kind of show out and maybe play all right. Nico Collins, we know how good of a receiver he is, but C.J. Stroud does not have time to throw the football. He doesn't really go through his reads well right now just because he doesn't really have time to do so. But the wonder about the new offensive coordinator in Houston, is it the offense or is it the play calling? We don't really know. So, we have a few more weeks to really figure out what a lot of these teams in the NFL are going to be the rest of the season. We're only 2 weeks in. Maybe Houston's offense bounces back harder than ever. And, we'll see. Joe Mixon coming back will definitely be a big boost to that offense. But even still, when he comes back, I mean, they still have glaring issues. Them trading back into the second round and drafting their first couple picks for receivers is kind of killing them right now. How nice would it have been to maybe invest in a couple offensive linemen high in the draft? Because the receivers aren't getting the ball. Was it Higgins and Noel? So, yeah, man, Houston next year, I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year, which definitely shakes up the AFC South between Jacksonville and Indianapolis right now, who's playing really good football. So we'll see how long that lasts, of course. But Houston, I can't see them making the playoffs right now. Their schedule, it's hard. It's not a juggernaut, but it's a hard schedule. It's a first place schedule. They won their division last year in the last few years now. So, yeah, they got it tough, and start off 0-2 is not a good start for that. So, and Indianapolis and Jacksonville are actually playing pretty good football. So we have to see where that goes with them. In terms of Tampa, 2-0, good start. Baker's playing some of the best football, if not the best football of his career. And they're only going to get better when Godwin comes back and Wirfs comes back. Their offensive line wasn't great last night, but yeah, man, definitely Tampa, again, pulling out a gritty win like they usually do. And 2-0, and Houston falls to 0-2. And it feels like Houston's season's kind of slipping out of their fingertips a little bit. So they've got to get back in form fast if they want any chance to get in the playoffs. Luckily, their division is weak. I mean, Jacksonville and Indianapolis is playing good football, but not playing great football. Maybe Indianapolis to this point is playing really good football, but let's see how long that sustains. I'm still weary on the Indianapolis Colts. Next thing I want to talk about is the next game between the Chargers and the Raiders last night. That game felt like it went on forever. I live on the East Coast, so that game went on until about 1 a.m. I mean, that's a long game, of course. It started at 10 o'clock, so that must be so nice to be on the West Coast, and you get to watch games like that at 7 o'clock. It ends at 10. Your 1 o'clock slate, which is 1 o'clock for me, or starts at 10 a.m. for you guys. Your 4 o'clock is at 1. So there's no doubt the West Coast definitely has the better timing in terms of football, which definitely could be a challenge for like people making football content, especially like me making my podcast. I would love to be able to hop on like right after the games, and I'm going to do it for some games, but it's hard with having school in the morning and stuff like that, like really early in the morning, and having to be able to record and have it edited and be up. I'd probably be up by 1 a.m. and then I have to go to bed. So it's definitely hard here on the East Coast producing football content, but it's not impossible at all. And no matter what, man, the grind's always worth it. But so Chargers and Raiders last night. Dude, the Chargers, I remember when I first started my podcast a few months ago, one of my first videos I made, one of the first short videos I made on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, yada, yada, whatever. I said the Chargers just missed the top 10. The receiving crew is really the only thing holding it back. And this was before they had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams was retired and stuff like that. Or I think Mike Williams just retired when I posted that, actually. So that's one of the main reasons why. And, they went and signed Keenan Allen, which I predicted. I said, I think they're going to go out and sign Keenan Allen now, especially since Mike Williams was retired. So, and they went out and they did that. And what a signing that's looking like. And how nice would it have been for someone like Houston, I just talked about, to have Keenan Allen on their roster right now, another good receiver, even though I think Houston's more than a receiver away from being good right now. How nice would it have been for Houston to sign some offensive linemen is what I should be saying. But just any team who's struggling with the receiving crew, Keenan Allen was out there forever. I mean, the Chargers basically were just like, here, you're still out here, come here. Mike Williams just retired, so you hop back on the ship, and man, the Chargers offense is humming right now. Justin Herbert might win MVP. I mean, he is a top-notch quarterback right now, hinting at my quarterback list here in a few minutes. But, man, the Chargers look good. They're firing on all cylinders. Defense, offense, they're rolling right now. And they play Denver next week. If they beat Denver, which I would take them to beat Denver right now, that division is theirs to lose, man. They're cruising on the driver's seat. They have a win over Kansas City. They're 3-0. Denver would be 1-2. And they have 2 wins in the division, and they're 3-0 and have a couple games over the other teams in their division. Whether or not, even if Kansas City wins, they'd be 1-2 with a win over an NFC team. And the Raiders might win, but they'd be 2-1. And who do they play? I don't know who they play next week. I forget who they play next week, but I know it's not anyone within the division. Chiefs play the Giants, and the Chargers play the Broncos, so it's not going to be a divisional game. But, yeah, Chargers are cruising in the division right there, and they don't play a first-place schedule. They made the playoffs last year, but this team, McConkey, Allen, Quentin Johnston, has really seemed to step up. One of the things I said is Quentin Johnston had a bad training camp, and I don't take training camp too serious, but your third year, you've had a case of the drops since you've gotten into the league your first couple of years, and it seems like it was continuing. So But right now he's having kind of a mini bit of a breakout season, I'd say. So, yeah, man, good for him. And that offense is firing on all cylinders, man. Herbert is playing like an MVP. Their running game's pretty good. I like Omarion Hampton. Najee Harris having him back there is a good 1-2 punch. He's not necessarily a guy who's going to break off a 20, 30-yard run, but he's going to get you that yard or two you need. If you're 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, you want Najee Harris back there, man. He's that kind of just grind for 2, 3 yards at a time kind of running back. And maybe every once in a while he'll break off stuff. Yeah, caught a couple passes yesterday, I've seen. So, man, Chargers offense is firing. One of the main concerns I had about the Chargers, and they're completely proving me wrong, man. Good for them. Chargers offense right now through 2 weeks of the season is just playing amazing. But that offensive line, I don't know if you watched yesterday, dude. Orlovsky was going off on the Raiders defense, and just more or less praising the Chargers offensive line too. Is just Herbert had all day to throw. It felt like 80% of the game. Especially in the second half in the fourth quarter, just watching, dude. I mean, he was just out there, just basically standing there, just with his head like this. And if you let him do that, you might as well take the defense off the field and just let him throw to whoever he wants. So he's going to eat you alive. I don't care who you have back there. You give Joe Flacco that amount of time, he's going to eat you alive. You can't give any NFL quarterback that amount of time to throw, especially Justin Herbert. He's just going to pick you apart, and that's what happened. Even though the score was 20-9, the game felt way further than that. In terms of the Raiders, this is the funny part. I have been very hesitant to put Geno Smith in that kind of upper echelon of quarterbacks, even top 12, to be honest with you. I was very critical of him on Seattle. Like, this dude puts up good stats, but he doesn't win anything. I mean, he got to the playoffs the 1 year, but last year they did finish 10-7, but it didn't make the playoffs. But I watched Geno Smith, and when they played against good teams, he's a roller coaster. He is like this. And every time, I said last week on my podcast, when they beat New England, I was like, you know what? This team has offensive weapons. Pete Carroll is coaching him again. That's who got him to kind of break out in Seattle. I was like, this team's probably going to finish with maybe 8, 9-ish wins. They're going to be competitive. I don't think they're going to win the playoffs, but Geno Smith will have them competitive. Way, way better than their quarterback situation last year. He eclipses any of those quarterbacks they had last year. But of course, I praise him. He goes out and throws 24 for 43, the 180 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 picks. He looked terrible last night. One of the things I got to say with the Raiders, too, I know they got to use Ashton Genty a little more, I think. They don't really – Geno goes on, it seems like long stretches of passing the ball for a long time, and then they kind of throw Genty in there for a drive, and then that's kind of it. They don't use Genty at all, from what it seems like, to be honest with you. They don't use him enough, at least. Like, they use him, but they just do not use him enough. You pick the guy, 6 overall? You got to use him more in your scheme. And your team was bottom tier of the league last year. One of the worst running back rooms I've seen in a long time. Was it like Samir White and Alexander Matt? I mean, they had a really bad running back room last year, which didn't help at all. But you get yourself a top-notch running back, and, at least his draft position makes him top notch. I mean, if he goes out there, and he had a bulldozing run to start off the game. We know the guy can play running back, but yeah, Geno Smith, of course, the second I go to praise him, just falls back down to earth. Basically, what I've been saying is, dude, this guy's a roller coaster, but he's been playing pretty good as of recently. Like, he's had a slew, even at the end of the season, of really good games, and then, of course, I praise Geno Smith. I'm like, you know what? This guy really is what everyone's saying, and then he goes out and throws 0 touchdowns and 3 picks. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, man. And that's kind of what I've been saying about Geno. Is Geno will break your heart, unfortunately. He will, man. You're riding high with Geno. You're like, dude, we got ourselves a quarterback, and he goes out and throws 24 for 43, 180 yards and 3 picks. They were bad interceptions, like just chucking interceptions. They were bad, especially the one towards the end of the game. I mean, it was like a 1-score, 2-score game for most of it. And they were in the red zone, and they just couldn't convert any points or any touchdowns. Now, is that more the Chargers defense or the Raiders offense? I feel like it's kind of a mixed bag. I feel like the Raiders had some opportunities to score. Geno definitely missed some throws, and I didn't like their play calling down in the red zone at all. They didn't run the ball enough. They had like 8 minutes left on the clock when they had the ball in the red zone the one time to make it a 1-score game, and they're just acting like they got 20 seconds left, hucking it in the end zone and stuff. I'm like, dude, run the ball, get some yards, and stop the Chargers offense and get the ball back. And they stopped them. I mean, they stopped the Chargers offense a few times, almost created some turnovers, but they just rocked like they had 20 seconds left in the game. And I thought that's what killed them at the end of the game. They had plenty of opportunities to come back, and Blake calling was not great either in Geno Smith's defense. I did not like how much they had him throwing the ball there at the end of the game, especially when they had time left to kind of run the ball and get a stop. And even if they let up a field goal, it would have been like a 5-point game, 6-point game. It was still a 1-possession game. So, yeah, I didn't like the play calling at all. The Raiders just fell back down to earth a little bit yesterday. I think they were kind of riding high, and I think this will be the Raiders season. I think they'll have good competitive games, and they'll probably get some upsets over some good teams this year. But a lot of people talking about playoffs for this team. They feel a year or so away. I'll say this for the Raiders, especially with Geno. Geno loses his confidence out there, and they kind of fit. Depending on where they draft that anyway, like even if Geno has a good year, he's only on like a 2-year deal. He's getting older as it is. You feel like the Raiders want a franchise quarterback. There's a quarterback there, Nussmeier, whether they take a shot on Kate Klubnik, wherever they're drafting at, whoever's there. Raiders might be in the market for a quarterback next year, or whoever's a free agent if they want to take a swing at someone there, make a trade or whatever. But Raiders could very well be in the market for a quarterback next year. Even if he just sits behind Geno. Geno has 1 year left. It almost feels inevitable this team's going to go for a quarterback next year. Maybe an offensive lineman, a corner. This team does have holes. I mean, I like their offensive line. They have some pieces there. Colston Miller, I think is his name, Colton Miller, one of them, one of the two. But they could definitely improve on the offensive line. You just drafted Genty. You don't really need another running back. You can always go get a second running back out there in free agency. They all perform all right. Excuse me. And maybe another receiver. I don't necessarily love drafting receivers in the first round. I think they have bigger holes than receivers, so I could see the Raiders love flashy moves. I'd rather see them go out and sign a receiver than draft one. I think they need to go out and draft another pass rusher, maybe a linebacker, another cornerback. They kind of need like a staple corner right now. It doesn't really feel like they have one, so that secondary can be fixed. Raiders have some holes. I mean, this team is good offensively, but there's holes there on defense that need to be fixed. You have Pete Carroll coaching, which is going to make it look better, but yeah, man, Chargers, Raiders. Look, it was a good game last night. I mean, it was a good game. The score, 20-9? Yeah, 20-9. The game fell further than that, though, man. The Raiders never really had any serious momentum. They never took over the momentum. Like, they were getting momentum, got some good stops, and they didn't really capitalize off it all. They got 3 field goals last night, so they didn't really carry on that momentum per se. Next thing I want to talk about here is the top 10 teams heading in here heading into week 3, sorry. Definitely have some updates here. I feel like some of you guys are going to be upset at me with this first one. I do have an honorable mention. I do have the Indianapolis Colts as an honorable mention. I'm still a little pulled back from the Colts. I know they're playing really good football right now. I'm going off the philosophy. I say this a lot. New Orleans last year, week 2, Colin Cowherd, all these people had New Orleans at the top of their power rankings, and they soon regretted it 2 weeks later. And they were at the bottom of the barrel, collapsing. The Colts do have a better team than the Saints, but the Saints didn't necessarily have a bad team. It is kind of giving me Saints vibes a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. A team that kind of didn't really have a lot of expectations going into the year at all, and then they kind of just played the first couple of weeks really good. I'm going to give the Colts another week. If they go out and win next week, I think they play Jacksonville next week. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But they'll definitely move up a good bit on my list. I mean, they'll be 3-0, and if they go out there and play like they have been the last couple of weeks, and maybe, okay, this team's actually legitimate right now. Daniel Jones is actually playing really good football. I'd still be skeptical a little bit in 3 weeks in, but I look at the Colts schedule. Their schedule is not that hard. So I think the Colts could, if they keep playing like they are, could sneak in the playoffs. So that's why I'm at the honorable mention, man. They are playing really good football, but I want to give it another week before I move them into the top 10. Just because of the New Orleans Saints last year, kind of gives me vibes of that. I am skeptical of that team, but they're playing really good football, man. They give me another week like that, they'll definitely be on the top 10. So They're right. They're right on the verge. I had them at number 10 here, flip flop, which is the San Francisco 49ers, new on the list. 2-0. Some injuries on the team right now. Brock Purdy's injured, but when he comes back, they'll probably be even better than they are right now. They have guys coming back. Ayuk's coming back. I mean, this team has guys coming back, and they're playing good football right now. They're 2-0. They beat Seattle, which is a pretty decent team. New Orleans kind of was in like a fist fight with that team a little bit. Felt the game was probably a little too close for comfort for 49ers fans. Definitely was too close for comfort. New Orleans, I think, was going to get the game-winning drive, and they didn't do it. So, regardless of how bad a team is in the NFL, they're still an NFL team. I mean, they're going to be competitive. They're not just going to be you go out there and beat them 40-0 every week, and if you only beat them 23-16 or whatever, you got to suffer the penalty for it. No, I mean, the 49ers are playing good football, and I believe they'll only get better, man. Their schedule sucks. Like, their schedule sucks, and I'm going to use that to their advantage here on the top 10 list. I mean, in terms of their schedule and everything, yeah, they're probably going to be a top 10 ranked team for me. And they are right now. I have them number 10. Would like to see them maybe get a little more healthy before I put them any higher, but they're definitely playing really good football. Number 9, I have the Denver Broncos, moving down 2 spots from last week. They were number 7 last week, moving down to number 9. They should have won the game. We missed this. Schrader missed a 60-yard field goal. Watching that, and the leverage call. I think we all know now by this point. And ended up re-kicking a 45-yarder and made it. The Colts are now 2-0. That really sucks for the Broncos. Bo Nix, I know I don't know. I'm not all in on Bo Nix, to be honest with you right now. He's playing very kind of like iffy football. He's playing really good for multiple guys, and he just like takes that step back. So, yeah, man, the Broncos, I love their roster. I love their team, but are we maybe pumping up the Broncos a little bit too much? We're going to see in the next few weeks, especially when they play the Chargers this week and they start off 1-2. If they do start off 1-2, excuse me. I think the Chargers are probably definitely the favorites in that game. Tough defense. I'd like to see what Herbert and that offense looks like against that Denver defense. But man, the Colts playing good against the Broncos. So I just like the Broncos a little more than the Colts right now. People are like, well, the Colts beat the Broncos, and they're 2-0, and you have the Broncos 2 spots ahead of the Colts. I mentioned the Colts. I'd like to see them another week. That's all. And I'd happily put them in. I'd say if the Broncos lose next week and the Colts win next week, the Colts will easily be over the Broncos. Broncos may not even be on the list next week, depending on what happens. So we'll see there. Number 8, moving up 3 spots, I have the Detroit Lions moving in here to number 8. So they were in the honorable mention for last week. And they put up 52 points against the Chicago Bears. Dude, I mean, they just went out there. And I've been saying this about the Lions. People were sitting there calling the Lions a 7-win team. Are the Lions really not good anymore? They lost Ben Johnson. They lost Aaron Glenn. They lost their 2 best coordinators in those 2. Regardless of losing those 2, which obviously they were good enough at what they did to become head coaches, even though it's not working out too good for them right now. Aaron Glenn gets a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt because it's good to the damn Jets, and the Jets just aren't that good. The Bears, though, Ben Johnson, that whole thing is kind of falling apart on him there. He looks really pissed off in his interviews. But the Lions have too much talent. I don't care. I do not care who's coordinating that team. They can have Chip Kelly from the Raiders, I just talked about, and I didn't like his play calling as much yesterday. Their team is too talented. They have guys everywhere, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Goff, people are kind of, people love Jared Goff, and people do not like Jared Goff at all. We know if he plays in not so good weather, outdoors, we know Jared Goff is a different quarterback, but when Jared Goff plays at home, plays under his speed, Jared Goff is extremely good quarterback. He may get Hall of Fame votes one day. If he takes the Lions to a Super Bowl or he wins a Super Bowl, Jared Goff is going to get Hall of Fame votes. He's going to one day. That's just the fact, man. Number 7, I have the Rams moving up 3 spots from number 10. They are now number 7 on my list. These guys are out there now buzzsawing. I don't even know what they're doing right now. Well, when I go back to edit this and edit out the background noise and all, this is not too annoying for you guys. I'm so sorry if it is. It's uploaded on YouTube and you guys hear it, and that's like really annoying. I'm sorry. But we are with the Rams at number 7, moving up 3 spots here today from number 10. Played a really good game against the Titans. I mean, they played against the Titans, expecting to win the game, and they definitely won the game. They're good for them. Covering the spread, everything. They're playing really good football right now. One thing I was concerned about, that I still am, is that Matt Stafford takes a big hit and that back starts nagging him again. That's going to be an issue for the Rams upcoming. But right now, at this moment, man, Rams will play some good football. Number 7 on my list. It would have been higher last week, but they didn't play that good against Houston, but they played a good game against Tennessee, which I like. Devontae Adams had a monster game as well. Him and Puka are out there, man. That receiving duo is really, really good. So Rams there at number 7, moving up 3 spots. Number 6, moving down a spot, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know people are going to be upset, but the problem is the team that moved up here coming up next, and then the next 4 teams all won. I mean, I can't necessarily justify moving up the Bucs, or I guess I can kind of justify moving them down here. They played a good game against Atlanta a few weeks ago, and then they played a good game against Houston, but they didn't play a great game. Like, I think this team definitely has a little bit of issues. Their offensive line protecting Baker right now is very iffy, but that has to do with Tristan Wirfs not playing right now. They won. They played a great game. They're still a top 6 team in the NFL, but I'll explain more when I get up to some of these teams of why, they got to move down or I'll just explain it now. The top 4 teams didn't lose. They all won. They stay where they're at. And the Chargers at number 5, moving up 3 spots, won the game, and they are playing better football than Tampa is right now. So I got to move Tampa down a spot even after a win to number 6. And yeah, number 5, I have the Chargers moving up 3 spots. Like I said, I just mentioned when I was talking about them a few minutes ago. I mean, the Chargers are playing top-notch quality football right now. I mean, Justin Herbert looks like, if right now the season were to end, I'd probably say Justin Herbert would win MVP right now. I mean, he is playing the best football of his career, undoubtedly right now. That game against the Chiefs, I'd say, was probably one of, if not the best game of his career. And he played a really good game last night. He kind of struggled starting off a little bit, but Chargers keep playing like they are. This team might finish with like 12 or 13 wins, and they're going to cruise to win the AFC West. So, that's a team right there, man, that is absolutely playing top 5. They're a top 5 team in the NFL to me, undoubtedly, as we speak here in week 2. Number 4, staying where they're at, is the Baltimore Ravens. I had to watch. I watched the entire game, like every other game, but had the Ravens here on the main TV, and I was here with Baltimore Ravens fans. And I didn't necessarily. The score made it look a lot better than it was, because you watch that game. The Browns were in that game for a while. Like, the Browns were in that game for a considerable amount of time. And they did not give Derrick Henry the ball. I don't like their play calling when it comes to Derrick Henry sometimes. Like, they just go to completely not giving him the ball anymore. And that's kind of what happened last week. And the Ravens, their defense played good against Flacco. But Flacco's a stature. You got to do is put some pressure on Flacco. Flacco's not going to perform at all. At all. I was trying to look for another word. He's just not going to perform at all. Again, good win against Cleveland. They stay where they're at, though. Still a little iffy on the Ravens, and it's the play calling. I just do not like their play calling. I'm not all in on Harbaugh either. The Packers stay at number 3. People might be expecting them to move up. To be honest with you, the next 2 teams that are up here, if they would have lost, the Packers would have moved up. Like, if any of these teams lose the top 4 right now, like, this whole thing is going to be shooken up. So if you're watching the Ravens, Packers, number 2, I got the Bills staying where they're at. Again, man, these teams are all playing ridiculously good football. I can't move one over the other. They just have to stay where they're at if they keep winning. Obviously, if one team is just dominating, like if the Packers just keep going out and winning 30-10 and their defense is playing good, the Bills are kind of barely edging out wins, I've got to put the Packers over. But these teams they're all blown-out teams right now. Number 1, I have the Eagles, defending Super Bowl champs. They haven't lost a game in what feels like forever right now. Went on to go beat the Chiefs, which I think, again, if they would have played like that, beating, I don't know, the Giants or something, I may have ended up moving the Eagles down. and maybe putting the Packers or Bills number one. But, man, the Eagles just keep winning. And they played against the Chiefs, which I know the Chiefs are 0-2 right now. They did not make the top 10 list here today. I was debating on putting them in the honorable mention, but they're 0-2, man. They're not playing good football right now. They were a Travis Kelce drop away from being 1-1, but the Eagles didn't necessarily have a great game, but they had a good game against the Chiefs. And they're playing against the Chiefs, man. Tough. That game kind of felt like a trap game maybe for the Eagles, and they went out, they won the game, and that's what matters. So that is it for my top 10 teams list. Sorry, I had like a fly or something on my mic, like a little mosquito or something. But now moving on to the last segment today, we have the top 10 quarterbacks list heading in here. Number 10, you guys are not going to like me for this at all. One, I'm just going to let you know right now, I took out Joe Burrow, dealing with a turf toe injury. So I had to put in another quarterback here to kind of fill in. Now, obviously, it wouldn't be Joe Burrow, wouldn't be number 10, but I put Dak Prescott in here at number 10. Well, his stats, I think it's a 2 touchdown to 1 interception ratio. You watch Dak, you watched him against the Eagles game last week. Dude, he's playing great football. CeeDee Lamb catches the ball. This team's 2-0 right now. And just as simple as that. They should have beaten the Eagles. CeeDee Lamb can't catch the football. He's making some beautiful throws. He played really good against the Giants. Clutch drives. They should have lost to the Giants probably 4 different times, but Dak just kept coming back, making amazing throws, good decisions from Dak, and he was playing great football, running and evading the pass rushers. He had a really good run at overtime to basically set him up in field goal range, and it looked like he was about to get sacked. Dak's playing top 10 quarterback level football. I don't care that he doesn't have 4 touchdowns to 1 pick. Dak is looking like a top 10 quarterback. If they don't have Dak Prescott, this team's 0-2, and they're looking really bad right now. They wouldn't even have been competitive in the Eagles game if it wasn't for Dak Prescott. So I think of Dak as flowers. Dak is playing like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. Number 9, moving up a spot in my list, is Matt Stafford. He was number 10 last week. I put him up to number 9. Played a really good game last week against Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is actually really good. So when someone someone plays good, their offense plays good against Tennessee, that's just good offense, because Tennessee's defense has actually been really good the last few years, even though the team hasn't, because the offense just stinks. Yeah, man, Stafford moving up a spot, playing good football, top 10 quarterback level. People would probably move him up more, but I can't really justify putting him over any of these guys right now, to be honest with you. They're all playing such good football. Moving down 2 spots, I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, maybe. Jaden Daniels, look, he's hurt, which kind of moves him down a little bit for me. Him being hurt right now. He may not play this week, so might have to move down some spots there. Even if he did play, I'd move him down. Didn't have a great game against the Packers last week at all. People have film on Jaden Daniels now. Are we going to see the sophomore slump? That's completely up for debate. That's not why I moved him down, but he didn't play a great game against the Packers last week. Again, the Packers defense, I think, is just really good, which is going to make a lot of quarterbacks look bad, but that's a shame for any of these guys on the top 10 playing against the Packers that don't have a good game, because those guys are probably going to drop, especially if other quarterbacks play well. And for Jaden Daniels, all these other quarterbacks played pretty damn well this week, to be honest with you. So number 7, moving up a spot, is Jalen Hurts. Again, he didn't necessarily have a great game against the Chiefs on Sunday, but he had a pretty good game. Stays in top 7. Again, his rushing ability, his ability to get, and this is what I said about the Eagles, I think it was yesterday. I've never seen a team quite so dominant, and a lot of that has to do with how strong their team, Jalen Hurts' legs are. That when they're 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 2nd and 3, they just feels guaranteed to get it. Like, you have to get the Eagles behind the sticks. Then that's a lot to do with Saquon, that offensive line, and also Jalen Hurts' ability to do the tush push and he's just a good rushing quarterback, and he's a big reason for that. So, you have to give Jalen Hurts credit to where it's due. It didn't necessarily the greatest passing game. His stats didn't look great, of course, but I think he played a pretty good game against a tough defense. Even if Kansas City's defense hasn't quite looked up to par, it's still a good defense. Getting coached by Spags, man. Those guys have all played together. Good defense. Jalen Hurts played well, and he moves up a spot to number 7. Number 6, moving up 3 spots from number 9 last week, is Jordan Love. Played a really good game against the Commanders. The Packers on all cylinders right now, dude. Just firing on all levels right now. Man, they're playing really good football all around. And I got to move Jordan Love up for it, man, because he's a part of that as well. That team is not playing as well, winning as many games. They're not 2-0 right now and quite looking so dominant if Jordan Love isn't playing good as well. We see, teams play good defense. Houston, for example, and the offense can't produce, and they end up losing games because of it. They held the Rams to 14 points. They held, the Buccaneers to 20 points yesterday? I believe I already forgot to score that game for some reason, but it wasn't much. It was 20 points. I think this game was 20-19, but man, I mean, Jordan Love is out there, and they're producing a lot of offense as well. So really good there from Jordan Love. Love seeing the football he is playing right now. Maybe he can inch up in the MVP candidate as time goes on. At number 5, moving up 2 spots, Baker Mayfield. Yes, the Bucs moved down 1, but Baker Mayfield ends up moving up 2 spots because of his clutch performance that he's always doing. Baker in the clutch is just different. He's playing some of the best football of his career, man. I mentioned that a little bit ago. Baker is playing some absolutely incredible football right now. Again, he's just one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. It's crazy how the Browns are out here struggling to find a quarterback, and they had him. They literally had him right here. They had a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now, for me at least. To most people, he's easily top 8. Right now, he's a top 5 quarterback for me. They had him on their roster. Now they're dicking around trying to find another quarterback. So, man, especially even if you're Carolina right now. I love Bryce Young, and I had a big upcoming season for him, and he played really good against Arizona in the second half. So hopefully he keeps that momentum going. But Carolina also had him as well. They also had Sam Darnold, who's on another big contract. So these teams are kind of kicking themselves right now. That's for sure. Baker, number 5. Number 4, moving down a spot, Patrick Mahomes. This team keeps losing games, he's going to keep moving down as well. He is playing really good football. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes will necessarily be off the top 10 list at any point. He's not playing bad football. Patrick Mahomes' team around him, that offense is really not good. Travis Kelce is not playing good at all. He ended up losing them the game. They should have won the game. Should have had a touchdown. He dropped it, gave it right to Philadelphia. So, I mean, he's missed a couple of deep balls. He missed some against the Chargers. He missed Tyquan Thornton on one on Sunday. I ended up making up for it, though. I think it was the same drive or the next drive to Tyquan Thornton for a long touchdown. But, yeah, man. I mean, Mahomes, that team just does not look good at all right now. That offense is very stagnant. It's not good. It's just not good. And he ends up moving down a spot because these next 3 I have are winning games or at least won more games than he has. And they're playing extremely, extremely good football. Number 3, moving up a spot, is Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert beat Mahomes last week and goes on to win another game against a divisional opponent yesterday night. And he is playing some of the best football of his career. He's playing MVP caliber football. Unfortunately for him, 2 of these guys up next are been on generational base right now. It's just being absolutely incredible. We've seen the game between those 2 last week. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, Herbert's playing MVP level football. Herbert's playing better football than Pat Mahomes and any of the other guys on the list behind him right now. Absolutely. So I got to move him up to number 3. Number 2, staying where he's at, is Lamar. Number 1, staying where he's at, is Josh Allen. These guys are just putting the teams on their back, man. I mean, these guys are playing all-time level football, like top 10 quarterbacks of all-time level football right now in their primes, man. You're talking about primes. These 2 are probably like top 10 quarterback primes ever right now. Just playing amazing football. You love to see it, man. What we're witnessing between these 2 right now, it's really incredible. So you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. And those 2 stay where they're at. If you want to flip-flop Lamar and Allen, you can, but I have to give it to Allen, man. He beat Lamar last week, and he's on to 2-0, played a good game Sunday against the Jets. And Lamar is out there picking teams apart, man, just doing what he usually does. The loss last week against the Bills was not Lamar's fault. So everybody's saying, well, Lamar should be lower. He lost. No, that was not his fault at all. So that is it for my top 10 QBs, top 10 teams. A little bit of my reactions to Houston versus Tampa and LA versus the Raiders. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if there was any background noise at any point, I know they were stalling for a little bit. I don't know what the hell they're doing in there. But I'm going to try editing that out as best as humanly possible. But if it does bother you guys, I'm sorry. Trying my best to edit it out for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, tomorrow is Why Not Wednesday. So if you want your questions answered right here on the podcast, make sure to fire in those DMs to @talkofthetown_pod, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to leave it in the comments, whatever, try to get in those last second questions. I have a slate of questions already for tomorrow, but never hurts adding in another one or so. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.